Alright, we have a game here with Samu versus KaidoGod. Kado will be rocking Giant Graveyard as the Giant Dark Prince and Graveyard all in the left-hand lane. Bomber and Golden Knight will be the cards on defense. Bomber gets Snowball back. The Earthquake is down to clean up some of the skeletons there. However, that left-hand tower dropped down to 2,500. Early lead here for Kado, but that Golden Knight coming in dashes onto the tower, will even up the lead and even bring it into Samu's favor. Bomber gonna cross two on the bridge, but no threat that bomb being dropped off. Kado just gonna go with the skeleton army at the bridge, try to get a little bit of extra damage. Skeletons will pull some of that horde or some of that army to the middle, but lead now in Samu's favor by about 100 damage. He's going to opt for the electrical giant on the left. Kado goes to the giant right at the bridge on the right. Minions will follow behind that. Giants distracted by the canyons, but all three minions hang towards that right-hand tower. They've all locked on the tower. That forces the NATO to pull them back. Two minions right back on that tower. Pesky little flyers. Drop that down to 2,000. Queen on this electrical giant. It gets mirrored NATO'd in. There is only 3 elixir in the hand for Kado to defend, as this electrical giant is bashing at his tower. It's going to drop that below to 900 damage before it gets taken out. 1 elixir lead also in the hand of Samu, as his right-hand tower is 1,100 health healthier than Kado's left-hand tower. A little bit of cycling here for Samu, as it looks like he's just going to get back to another electrical giant. Bomber and Golden Knight in the right-hand lane. Dark Prince will be dashing down with the Queen right behind it. Queen actually locked onto the Golden Knight. NATO pulls the Queen into the electrical giant, but it takes out the Golden Knight first. Skeleton army will sacrifice itself just to take out that electrical giant. The giant barely gets in front of the Queen of Kado, as right now a graveyard will be going down behind that. The 1 elixir skeletons will be able to take out the Queen as the earthquake goes down on the graveyard skeletons. Predictive Snowball hits the Golden Knight, allows 1 skeleton to chip at that tower a little bit. Lead still in Samu's favor, but only by about 800 now. However, he has an E-Giant going in on the left, Golden Knight and Bomber on the right. The skeleton army and Dark Prince go to defend, but the NATO takes out the skeleton army. Half health E-Giant steps away from the tower. It's going to hit it. It hits it once. 55 damage, or 55 health, make that 0. Samu takes the game. Here we go, we're going into the rematch. We have Samu versus KaidoGod. We just watched his match last game. It was Samu rocking the E-Giant deck, which is looking like he's got already. Kado, he already has a different deck, so not too sure what he's going to be running this time around. Actually, my bad. Last game he was running Giant Graveyard, and I believe it's a very similar variation of that, if not the same deck. As the Graveyard will be going in, Cannon Cart is down to defend that. E-Giant was placed in the very back, so should defend some of those skeletons. However, they're still going to chip away at that tower a bit. Lots of skeletons at the front were chipping away. Bomber cleans them up, but not before they drop that tower down to 2,100. However, counter push potential right now for Samu. We have the Mortar on defense, Electrical Giant and Bomber coming in. That Bomber should be splashed out by the Mortar. The Earthquake will take the Mortar out shortly after. Beautiful Fisherman for Kado. A little bit of a snipe from him, as the Fisherman will activate the tower. So his deck slightly modified from last game. Finally, he's got a good counter to this electrical giant. Last game, he was rocking a bit more of a giant graveyard, and he almost had to sack the skeletons from the army into this giant. However, another giant push coming in. Mirrored Fisherman that pulls the electrical giant towards the top middle. The Golden Knight dashed towards the Dark Prince, and as the King Tower will assist. Beautiful snowball there to slow down the electrical giant and weaken the Golden Knight. Fisherman cleans the rest of it up. However, we actually have a near even game with only about 3 damage lead right now. Basically irrelevant, as the elixir lead just 1 in the favor of Samu. Samu, he will mirror that E-Giant in the back left. We did see the Fisherman and the mirrored Fisherman as the last 2 cards. So with this Mortar played down, there's still 2 cards away from Fisherman. However, Kado shouldn't have an issue getting back to that, as he's already cycling the Cannon Cart. He's just 1 card away from that. Heroes will take out the Bomber as the Earthquake takes out the Mortar here. Fisherman now will go down for Kado. That Fisherman gets NATO'd in, but 7 elixir in the hand of Kado. He's just going to mirror the Fisherman. Another E-Giant now going down to the back left. We know Samu has a mirror, so he could possibly just be going for a double giant push here. As the Fisherman will cross on the right, skeletons have to go down. That mirror giant push is no longer possible. Golden Knight going in behind the electrical giant. Once again, Cannon Cart on defense. That Mortar has just gotten earthquaked and now will be gone. Fisherman was placed. NATO did not pull the Fisherman in. Fisherman able to pull that electrical giant to the opposite lane. Another one going down the left-hand lane for Samu here. Once again, this is a beautiful pick by Kado, pulling picking the Fisherman. He has been pulling these Electrical Giants like no tomorrow. We have the Skeletons and Bomber both arrowed, allowing the Fisherman to pull itself to the tower. The Earthquake went down. One Skeleton was able to chip with help of that Fisherman slow. Cannon Cart hitting this Electrical Giant will stop it before it hits the tower. We have the Mortar Dark Prince on the right. Cannon went down on defense for Samu. That will get taken out and force out the Electrical Giant from him. The Golden Knight on the left will be getting weakened down by the Cannon Cart. Fisherman will pull this Electrical Giant as the arrows hits the Bomber and does not hit the right-hand tower. Golden Knight's gonna dash, not towards the Fisherman, but on the left-hand tower. Hits that once, brings it down to 1400. The Mortar did lock on the right-hand tower, so lead by about 150 in Samu's favor. A minute and 30 left in the game. 20 seconds left until we are hitting triple elixir here. I believe the closer we get to triple elixir, more this is going to favor the E-Giant deck, as Samu can just start earthquaking. Even though Kado can get back to mortars, they can get earthquaked out. The Fisherman's can be NATO'd in as well, but he does have a graveyard push coming in. Arrows went down on the Bomber. Lots of Skeletons on this left-hand tower. Earthquake goes in late. Left-hand tower at 636. There are 2 Giants alive right now, but they're getting whittled down by the 3 towers of Kado. Fisherman and Cannon Carts doing some work as well. 1 minute left. We have entered triple elixir. 636 on the weak left-hand tower. The right-hand tower of Samu at 1500. The graveyard going in for the left. Cannon, Archers, and Golden Knight all on defense. Snowball goes in, weakens the cannon. Quite a few Skeletons at the back have made it to the tower. 305, 224 now. That tower is getting low. There is Mirror and 2 spells in Kado's hand. He just has to defend here. Golden Knight and Electrical Giant coming in. Golden Knight cross the bridge. Electrical Giant close to the tower. Snowball goes in on the tower of Samu. Those Skeletons not able to reach, but the arrows are. Kado wins this game. Alright, we're going to another game here between KaidoGod and Samu. This will be the 3rd game in the series. If my memory serves me correctly, I believe both of these players are 1-1 at the moment. Samu has run E-Giants for all 3 games. Kado has swapped his decks up. He was running Giant Graveyard game number 1, ran more of a Fisher Graveyard deck game number 2, and now he seems to be running a bit of a Mortar deck. I'm assuming he will be sniping an E-Giant pick here, as he's literally played against Samu, who was running E-Giant for the past 2 games now. So both Dark Princes will be meeting on the right-hand side. Cannon Cart will assist Kado's. And Samu will just place Skeletons down at the back, Golden Knight at the bridge. As the graveyard goes down, a bit of a snipe here from Samu, as he has the Mother Witch, but that gets frozen. The Skeletons on the tower get NATO'd in and then taken out. 2 of those Skeletons will turn into Hogs, as the Golden Knight will dash on the right-hand tower. Ship that down a little bit. Zappies will be going down on defense here. Lead slightly in Kado's favor, but after this Mother Witch gets... Oh, Mother targets the Zappies, not the tower here, so lead will remain in Kado's favor by just a little bit. He's down 2 elixir, but these Zappies on the field should even things up. A little bit of a predictive snowball there from Kado. Does not land on anything but the tower. And Dark Prince is allowed to just clean up these Zappies here. We are now 15 seconds away from double elixir, as these Dark Princes are just going to fight on Kado's side. So Samu has modified his deck ever so slightly. He does have the Mother Witch now. I'm not sure if he is still running the Earthquake. He will no longer have Mirror or Earthquake. One of those cards have swapped. I'm leaning towards the Mirror not being in this deck, as he actually has Lightning instead of Earthquake. So Samu, quite a bit of a swap from his last deck, but once again, still running E-Giant, still running Golden Knight. So those things have stayed consistent. And I believe Kado did plan to play against E-Giant, as his deck seems to have a pretty good matchup against it. Not sure what Kado's last card is. Possibly another spell, but not 100% sure, as he is rocking the Mortar Graveyard win conditions. Golden Knight get great dash there off of the Zappies Dark Prince and then Cannon Cart, defending Cannon of Samu, getting great value here. Electrical Giant has been taken out, so this push has been stopped short, but Samu willing to start another one as he places the Electric Giant in the back right. The Zappies for Kado are going to actually cross a bit early and then get whittled down by the tower and Electrical Giant of Samu, as there is an early Mortar on defense here. Dark Prince down for both sides as the Lightning goes down on the Mortar. The Dark Prince of Samu should get taken out, with the Electrical Giant getting whittled down shortly after. No risk of that one reaching the tower. Golden Knight played in the back as the graveyard is going in here. Dark Prince and Cannon Cart. Dark Prince did tank for a little bit, then got taken out by the Electro Giant, but the Mother Witch goes down on the graveyard. This provides huge counter push potential. 3 Hogs coming in, and the Golden Knight. Golden Knight able to dash on all 3 Zappies and the Cannon Cart. Dark Prince going down on defense here. Defense so far is clean, but the Mother Witch still alive and able to turn all these troops into Hogs. Mother Witch redirects onto the cannon cart, luckily, and then gets taken out. Lead in Samu's favor by about 600, as we have an E-Giant at the bridge. Cannon and Dark Prince both getting zapped, but the cannon cart popped and distracts the E-Giant for a bit, allowing the troops to take that one out. Lead in Samu's favor, 500 damage. Cannon on defense for this mortar, as well as a Golden Knight. Zappies are lining this Golden Knight up for a dash. It takes that opportunity, hits the mortar, and then goes to the Dark Prince next. Mortar still not able to lock onto the tower. It's on the cannon. Will now go onto the Dark Prince as some skeletons are placed down as well. Beautiful lightning there from Samu. Takes out the mortar and takes the wheels off of the cart. Lead still in his favor. We have 50 seconds left, so we've entered triple elixir here. The mortar has been placed as well as a graveyard. Cannon on defense. Electric Giant has now passed the graveyard range. Freeze goes down not on the Mother Witch. Mother Witch getting insane value on the graveyard. It gets snowballed back a little bit. Only 2 of those skeletons were turned to hogs, but massive counter push for Samu here. Cannon cart on defense as well as Zappies. 2 E-Giants at the bridge. One of them is 3/4 health, the other one is full health. Cannon cart has to get out the Dark Prince first as the mortar goes down on defense. That mortar a little bit far to the right. It will still pull the E-Giant, but gets lightninged anyway. It should be going down shortly, but this E-Giant is still distracted in the meantime. 14 seconds left. Lead in Samu's favor. Kado does have arrows and graveyard in his hand, but the Golden Knight walking towards his tower. He has to play Zappies to defend it. Mother Witch is defending the graveyard, but it gets frozen. That tower at 970, arrows go in. No, the lead stays in Samu's favor. He wins this game 1-0.